Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason here at New Dimensions, Crystals and Reiki, downtown from Texas. And today's report is for January the 21st, 2026 through January the 27th, 2026. And as usual, we start with our sun, which has been active over the past couple of days. If you've been feeling out of sorts, and especially yesterday, if you noticed some internet disruptions, especially I think AT&T. There was, I think on Monday, an X2 solar flare. And that was combined with a coronal hull stream, and that created, I believe, KP7 or above solar storms, which of course affect technology, and of course, everything is uh, of course, naturally this is supposed to happen. The coronal hull stream gives us a little bit of compression, and then the solar flares give us a little bit of release or a spike in energy. So you might have been feeling up and down or out of sorts, and that is normal. But good thing is the coronal hull is turning away, and the active sunspots that were producing the flares are decreasing in complexity, which means less likely to erupt. And they are also turning away from Earth facing. So even if they do reconfigure, likely that we're not going to have any kind of disruption from those. Of course, there's always other ones coming, but yeah, it should be a quieter week than it's been so far. Yeah, we are currently in the zodiac now of Aquarius. Welcome to Aquarius. It's the age of Aquarius, and it's also the Aquarius sign. And of course, alchemically, in the physical form of the body, that's really going to sort of affect your blood salt ratio, right? So, salt is what allows salt and oils is what allows chemical or electrical currents or broadcasts or messages to be moved through the body, right? And so you might be craving more salty things during this time. And it's also physically coordinated with the ankles, right? And so that's the ability to sort of feel safe or feel where you're at is where you're supposed to be at. And so that kind of energy could be definitely affecting you, right? So if you got pain in the ankles, right, maybe left ankle, probably you're a little bit too anchored into your past. Right ankle, you're a little too fearful of your future or your own power to be in that future. And so pay attention to that as we are in Aquarius. And we are currently also into retrogrades. And those retrogrades are Uranus. And that's really just about reinventing what it means to be human, right? Is there such thing as separation from divinity, or is divinity embodied in everything that is physical about us? Might be something to question or look into during this retrograde. And then also, we're currently still in Jupiter retrograde, and that's really about self-worth, right? Are you worthy of good things? Are you worthy of connection to spirit? Are you worthy of the abundance you've been seeking, or at least the calmness of having enough, right? And so in an abundant universe, the desire for enough is limiting the universe. So maybe you desire to be abundant. We're always, by our thoughts, feelings, and emotions and beliefs, telling the universe what we'd like to receive. So take that for what you will. As Jupiter is in retrograde, and it's also about practicing abundance, right? So it's not only like I think I'm abundant; it's also about acting like that. So it's if you are living spiritually or physically abundant or financially abundant, then you would have those habits, right? Of spending freely, of risking out loud your spiritual beliefs and developments. Yeah, interesting time. Leads us into today, Wednesday, the 21st report. We are entering, or we are currently in, because there are one, two, three, four, five, one, two, three, four, five, and then later this week, six heavenly bodies in the sign of Aquarius until February the 7th. And that's really helping you to begin spiritually new or higher consciousness, right? So that's really sort of moving us. You want to think of this as a demarcation or really a spread of energy that is really separating us from the age of Pisces and leading us really or anchoring us into the age of Aquarius, which we are entering. And so It's really going to be helping you begin new spiritually high consciousness, right? So it's really hard to sort of live in a dual world of the old Piscean era and go into this spiritually awake era. It's asking us to really to increase our spiritual capacity, and that's it's kind of like exercise, right? So you want to think of it as the ability to maintain a heart rate like right while running, right? So this is the ability to not just have spiritual experiences, but to remain at that spiritual peak for longer. That's building capacity to be more of what you are. So you're really trying to allow and be in that it's not really a mindset, spiritual alignment. There we go. Oh my goodness. It's like I come up with words or they just come to me. And I didn't even write that down. Um, a spiritual capacity. And that really means a lot of the easiest way to do that is to release the limiting stuff, right? That automatically brings you into higher capacity, right? And so you want to think of maybe it's going to be icy this weekend. So maybe that's similar to having regular tires or snow tires, right? So when you release things that are inhibiting you, like regular tires when it's snowy, right? So you release things that aren't spiritual or non-spiritual habits so that you can have the capacity to be more spiritual, right? That doesn't mean you stop doing things that are regular or in the physical world. That means that you do them with a spiritual mindset, right? And you can go through, like, even if you're just working out, right? The body is a temple, right? So how are you constructing that temple? And not that the temple is bad already, you're constructing something that's going to be spiritual, but you're looking at what you're transforming is already spiritual and you're making it have more capacity. So stuff like that. Good energy. I like it. Let's get spiritual. um Leads us into tomorrow, Thursday the 22nd, 2026, January the 22nd, 2026. The Sun and Mercury are really going to be the prevailing energies of the day. And it's really going to demand daily life become more spiritually filled with spiritual integrity, right? So if it feels spiritually like, oh, I can't do this anymore, then the universe would really appreciate it if you started to act on that rather than allowing it to persist in a non spiritually giving kind of sense. Communication with others and from source become more dominant, right? So that sort of like a spiritual thing. So you're going to be in more alignment and synchronicity in a spiritual sense rather than sort of a mundane sense. And really the energy of the Sun and Mercury is asking you to apply your spiritual authority, right? So it's kind of like, oh, you never know who you're around, right? Because you're not in their brain, you're not experiencing the life they do, you're not seeing the combinations of the energies moving through them and then seeing what's actually having here. You're only seeing what is external. Sometimes as a giveaway, but this is just really asking you to apply your spiritual authority to how you're living and what you're interacting with. Leads us into Friday, the 23rd of 2026, January 23rd, 2026. Mars is going to be joining the stellium on Friday, the Aquarian stellium, giving you momentum and courage, right? So if you're kind of like, I don't know how to do it, then by Friday, you sort of get this courage to say, fuck it, I'm going to do it, or something similar. I like that phrase. That works for me. Um, there's a great meme of, I think it's Yellowstone, where they're talking about how they're going to move some horses down a hill or whatever, and they don't really have a tactic. They just say, fuck it. That's what I'm saying. This is the sort of the momentum and courage, right? The what I said in the last day, that the universe rewards courage and action. That's what it is. Just like, hey, just act. And it's really the courage to confront the past and leave it behind. What wasn't serving you, who wasn't serving you, where wasn't serving you. And a lot of the energy that Mars is giving you is not necessarily to conquer or eradicate or any kind of conflict kind of stuff, but it's really giving you the energy to alchemize, which just means transmute, which just means change the same thing from one energy to a new energy, which is what alchemy is. And so it's about alchemizing and transmuting basically things that you've been afraid of or afraid to become, right? So fearing your own power. There's nothing to fear. That's what we should all know or take from that. But source is in everything. So no need to spend time in judgment of the things that you're getting rid of or the ones you're shifting, like, oh, this is bad and I must get rid of it, right? Because source is in that too, right? So you needed that or were that for a time until you recognized that you were more. So just think of it as a step along the way to ascension. Good stuff. Leads us into Saturday, the 24th of January, 2026. And the sun and Pluto are really going to be aligned. We're coming into an alignment that is really positive for us. And it's going to be an extended alignment, right? So we're, just like we're beginning all these eras and leaving the 9 universal year into a 1 universal year and creating a new 9 year thing. This is actually a little bit longer than 9 years. The alignment is going to be till 2043, and it's really asking us, allowing us, giving us the opportunity to align or integrate or evolve the energy that began in December of 2020, right? And we sort of see at the minor interpretations of what happened in December of 2020 and all the shifts or the things that happened, not only in the US, but worldwide, sort of that something is amiss and going off the rails. Because I think that when the pandemic, anyway, all the things that sort of just shift, like what is reality, who's in charge, who's telling it, what's truth, all the things. We're really starting to integrate that, right? And so you want to think that it becomes more evident or clear what truth is, and that the kind of like Ghostbusters, the original movie, where Gozar the Gozerian says, "Choose your destroyer," right? How is the old going to go away, right? And of course, in Ghostbusters, they choose the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And this is really sort of saying that the collective consciousness has chosen the mechanism by which it must shift, right? And so we're really sort of taking personal sovereignty in that, like going, hey, this shift is happening. And so this integration that's sort of coming with that. Yeah. Good Saturday. What else did I say? Oh, yeah. What was hidden reveals itself, and you can act in sovereignty on that, right? So good energy on Saturday, right in the middle of the ice storm. If it actually hits like they say, probably will. There's all the sources are starting to align that there's going to be some big time cold weather far down south in the central of the country, which gets as far south as Texas. So all of y'all who are local to Brenham will be in effect of this. Yeah. So if you got nowhere to go, you might as well focus on, hey, what is my sovereignty and how am I going to act? And what is the spiritual nature and what is my soul leading me to do while you're freezing? Leads us to Sunday, the 25th of January 2026. It's really the energy of the day is going to be really that small details sort of fade away and you sort of see bigger pictures or things that are going to have the most effect when you do them, right? So a lot of us, this guy included, get caught up in all the little, I'm going to do all these little things. And then that conglomeration of the little things is going to maybe allow me to do one big thing. This is really sort of saying the energy of the day. And it's going to be sort of be driven by Chiron, the planet of the wounded healer. All those little things are a diversion and you should do the big things, right? And so if you could take this step or that step and it might, get you prepared to take the big step, it's really sort of saying like, forget those little steps and take the leap. Blah, 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 blah. You see how your soul has always been guiding you, and you can listen to it clearer under this energy, right? So all of the things that you've been using to divert, you'll sort of see that there's been an overarching higher self, soul level stuff, source energy that's been guiding you and been patiently sort of letting you see. And even though you've done small acts, it's rewarded those small acts with more awakening. And so now you can actually see the big steps to take and know that you are guided and, in the most part, protected to take those steps. Yeah, good Sunday. Leads into Monday, the 26th of January, 2026. Really, the energy of Monday is about the ability to adjust and calibrate the path that you're on. Right. And so this is sort of playing into that idea of should I do small things or should I act big? A lot of the things that humans, this guy, sort of uh, get busy with is, oh, I'm gonna, take all the correct steps, tiny little ones to get on with it. Because if I don't want to take a big step, because then if I have to adjust, it's too hard, or I've gone down the wrong path and I'm screwed for 9 years or whatever it is. This is really the energy of the day is saying that that's not true, right? That it's kind of like if you're driving a car, right, and you're making micro adjustments, but the GPS is like, hey, you're going to the wrong town. You should go to this one. You can still turn and go to that town, right? You're not stuck, right? It might be a little bit of a detour, but it's just sort of saying, hey, you can adjust your path. So act as you were. The energy is going to be really sort of moving us along. That is the moon. The moon's going to really give us the energy to sort of see that we're never stuck, right? So, oh shit, I went down a dead end. Okay, back up and go to a road that's actually going where you want to go. Kind of energy. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So it's just the energy of Monday is really don't fear that you're acting wrong. Act because you can adjust. Leads us into Tuesday, last day of the report, January the 27th, 2026. Neptune arrives in Aries until 2039. Neptune. Oh, so Neptune. And it's really, the energy is going to be really redirecting our soul and spirit in ways um, that pile up wins for us, right? So, wins for your path. It's, I won't say it's like you can't lose, but it's really going to start to see that you're getting breadcrumbs that you're moving in the right direction, right? So this is really an affirmation that you're growing in spirit. And Aries is that sort of uh conqueror, I can move through anything, nothing can really resist me kind of energy. So that's good. It also is going to be dissolving the illusions of things that aren't spirit, or even things labeled spiritual, right? So this is sort of a lot of things get labeled spiritual or human development and stuff like that feel really nice, but they're not accomplishing what you're actually leading toward, what soul is calling you to be, and what source is creating. So this is going to help you sort of see for you, right? And so that doesn't necessarily mean it's not what might be spiritually illusion. An illusion for you might not be an illusion for somebody else, meaning it might be beneficial towards their spiritual growth. But this is definitely something that's going to happen. And really, it's going to be about embodying spirit, taking precedence over doing spiritual things. That's a hard one. Oh, it's just kind of just, continue in the routines that aren't growing me spiritually. That'd be fun because then I can say, at least I'm doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at. The universe is recruiting the spiritually courageous, right? So that's, I'm gonna say that setting up your own spiritual system for yourself, but it's the people that are spiritually courageous to go against the grain, to expand the direction, to ask for what's next or what's the next step, or challenge something spiritual that isn't actually beneficial or spiritually life giving. There we go. To the majority. So yeah, pay attention to that. And so, yeah, the universe is recruiting the spiritually courageous, not the fearful or the stuck. And then the energy that's going to be also affecting the day is Saturn's going to be assisting us in forming habits and rules of this new spiritual era, right? So if you're uh, thinking or feeling that you just did this, so you did that and did this, Saturn is really sort of honing that in, where you don't necessarily have to get in stuck in something you tried that isn't working for you, but it's really going to start to align the things that sort of are spiritually growing you, so that you feel less like over the last 6 years that you've been spinning your wheels and haven't moved much further or grown much more or had much more of a numinous or spiritual experience. This is Saturn's really going to sort of line those things up to where what you're doing is spiritually healthy and moving you in that direction. Yeah, that's everything for this week's reports. Well, I'm obviously late, so if you're knocking at the door and it's 11:35 outside of New Dimensions, then I'm almost done recording, and I will upload this as soon as it's done. Getting on the computer stuff. I should be here all next week. Um, to be here for the rest of this week, for that matter. Uh, yeah, come on by 11 to 5 p.m. I'll be here Wednesday through Saturday. And until next time, everybody, many blessings.